And the latest, probably biggest news from this past week is Meta launched Threads, the big Twitter competitor. Right as Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg are about to go in a wrestling match in a cage and fight to the death to see who gets to keep their text tweeting app of just plain words on a screen, Meta goes and possibly gets a lawsuit started. Elon said on Twitter, a tweet that I remember reading that I'm not sure is in here, is basically that stealing is not okay, competition is great. So Elon was claiming straight up that that Meta stole a bunch of like Twitter backend stuff, and that's how they were able to make the Thread app. And therefore, Twitter is threatening to sue Meta over its new app. Threads, which is a text-based platform similar to Twitter, has passed 30 million signups since its debut yesterday. The question here is, Twitter was already an absolute dumpster fire. Like, that's what it was great at being. Elon bought the dumpster fire and turned it into a slightly more even dumpster fire, and it's still dumpster fire anyway around it. And then Meta was like, we've been working on this forever. A bunch of Twitter people just got laid off because he laid off a ton of the company and probably scooped up a few employees. I'm not saying they did, but if I had to guess, maybe they did. So with that, there's a lawsuit starting. So a lawyer for Twitter, Alex Spiro, hopefully, sent a letter to Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg accusing the social media giant of engaging in unlawful misappropriation of Twitter's trade secrets. They're all little kids here arguing over secrets. Twitter's trade secrets and other intellectual property. Twitter intends to strictly enforce its intellectual property rights and demands that Meta takes immediate steps to stop using any Twitter's trade secrets or highly confidential information. So the war has begun. Gotta be honest, to an extent, sometimes, as somebody who does generally like what Elon does, I also do wonder sometimes if he just plays to his fans. And with that, sometimes accuses people of things that might not necessarily be true right away, because generating headlines is his favorite thing to do, because that's free advertisement, baby. Because everybody knows no publicity is bad publicity, and bad publicity is great advertising. So Linda, I can't remember how to say her last name, but the new Twitter CEO tweeted out that on Twitter, everyone's voice matters. Whether you're here to watch history unfold, discover real-time information all over the world, share your opinions, or learn about others on Twitter, you can be real. You built the Twitter community, and that's irreplaceable. This is your public square. We're often imitated, but the Twitter community can never be duplicated. And that's where the big question comes in for me. With Meta's new launch of Threads, sure, everyone with an Instagram account gets a Thread account, which basically means everybody with a Meta account gets a Thread account. But with all that, what would make enough people fully stop using Twitter to use Meta instead? Like, it's obviously not a feature, but to an extent, Facebook is kind of almost the same thing. And people already don't like that. Now, that said, Threads looks way more like Twitter than it does Facebook. Not that I have an account yet, but just from screenshots I've seen. And there's no shot like a real Mark Zuckerberg tweeted this out, right? Zuckerberg posted a tweet for the first time in a decade yesterday, moments after Threads launch. Sign him up, bro. Let's go. Anyways, I hope that what becomes of this at the end of the day is both CEOs just decide that, you know what, this isn't worth it. Let's just decide that whoever wins the cage match gets to keep the other person's platform. And we'll watch black belt in jiu-jitsu get walrused by Elon Musk, and then Twitter will just take Threads. I have no idea. This just is an absolute... it seems like a weird. I see why they released it as a meta person, but I also don't see why they did. So okay. And with that, thanks for watching this episode of the podcast, and I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.